Say something? Okay. Thanks for joining us. We're making vegetable soup. We tried the Sacred Heart soup and weren't impressed. So we're doing our version of a healthy soup.
I'm trying.
Okay, mainly get Jan.
Okay,
so
so
what we've done is peeled garlic and onion, and we're about...
So what we're going to do, our first steps are to sweat onions, carrot, and celery in olive oil. We'll add garlic last to it. And the reason we're doing that is those are aromatic, so they smell good and they release a lot of flavor into the soup. And you want to kind of flavor the pot and flavor the oil. I mean, rather
As a base.
You're creating your base, right?
Get Jan in the pots.
Just get the pots. All right, so you're going to set your on about a medium heat, and we're going to heat up a little extra virgin olive oil. Look in the pot. All right, you see how much is in there? How much I put in there?
Mm-hmm.
That's plenty. That's all I need. I just need something to keep my veggies.
We're making a double batch. That's the point of 2 pots.
I do not think I put this back in. Okay. Cut. Don't do that.
Huh.
Get something to cut on.
It's a mini chop.
Mimi's a great cook.
Anyway, here's the difference though. She knows how to mimi chop
you
and you
recording?
don't. Yes.
I told you to record when we actually shred it.
Shred our carrots. I prefer things to be fresh and do it myself, because when you get the pre-shredded stuff and pre-cut stuff, sometimes it loses a lot of nutrition and flavor. Okay, that's good. Keep it up.
So, in a perfect world, we wouldn't have wilted celery, but we're going with what we have because we're not wasting money on celery right now.
Right. So just chop off the ends.
And in case everybody didn't know, like I didn't know, this part is bitter. Never use it.
That's not true. In some things that part is what
When
you
you're
want.
looking for a bitter flavor.
So you stack your celery one on top of each other, and you just rough chop it. If you're going to eat celery, you need to. So what we're doing now is we're creating sort of our aromatics. We're adding our celery. We're adding our onion. Just wash the onion. And we're going to add our carrots. And this creates a nice base for our soup. Okay. All right, so you want to just kind of stir it around. We've got our little heated olive oil is in there. And we're just going to kind of stir this around for a second to mix it. And we're just going to let this sit. We're just going to let it sit. We'll put a lid on it and we'll let it sweat down for about 15 to 20 minutes, maybe a little longer, give or take. So normally when you're kind of sweating down your vegetables, you would do them a little separately. You would want to do your onions first, because onions take a little longer, and then your celery, and then add your carrots, but you can do it all together. It really doesn't make that much of a difference in a soup. Can I go? So we're going to add a little bit of kosher salt, just a tiny little bit. I know that looks like I'm taking a ton, but I'm not. Into our vegetables, it's going to help. It's going to help them saute down a little bit better. I only cook with kosher salt, sort of a personal preference, but also you get a better. Kosher salt has a little more flavor, and you get a better idea of how much salt you're putting in because you're actually touching it. So we're going to cover the pot. And that lid doesn't fit very well, but that's what I got today. And that will help everything kind of sweat down a little bit better. You want to cut the ends off, but you don't want to waste a lot. You don't want to cut way down there. You just kind of cut off just a little. Same thing here, just a little. You just want those little hard pieces cut off. All right, then it's simple. We're just cutting it into rounds and make them all about the same thickness, so they will all cook at the same rate of speed. So when you're cutting vegetables for your soup, you want them to be thicker instead of thinner, because you don't want them to cook down to be mush and unrecognizable. You want to be able to, when you take a spoonful, kind of bite into something. That's very satisfying to have something to bite in instead of having, something mushy.
Keep cutting.
Okay. It's time to check and see how we're doing with our sweating down of things. I have no idea how many minutes I let it simmer. I don't usually cook by minutes or by measuring. I just kind of cook by look. So that's pretty close. You can see the onions are pretty transparent. The celery still has a little way to go. So I did add a little more olive oil a few minutes ago just to kind of help that. But you can see that it is starting to cook down. So we're going to recover it and check it in a few minutes. Adding the garlic now. Our veggies are sauteed down enough. I like the fresh garlic. Gives you more flavor. You can chop it, dice it, slice it, whatever you want. I prefer fresh. So we just added our garlic, and we're going to let this go for a few minutes just to let the garlic release some of its flavors and get kind of that good toasty, roasty garlic flavor in the soup.
And it smells amazing.
It smells amazing. Everything is sauteed down really well, so we're going to start adding our wet and building the soup stock. And then right after this, we're going to add our vegetables. We add our chicken broth, and we start adding some water and our vegetables, and we just keep going till everything gets to where we want it to be. So now we've got our chicken broth and everything in the pot. We're going to add our cabbage now and give it a little extra go time. And we turned up our heat. You're going to maybe turn it up a little bit more to kind of get that cooking a little faster. Okay. Just for the record, I would normally use fresh cabbage, but for some reason the grocery store was out of fresh cabbage. That's why I used the shredded cabbage in a bag, but I like to shred my own cabbage. So now we're going to add in our baby kale and baby spinach and our chard, and you'll see that there's a lot of it that goes in, but this stuff cooks down really a lot. All right, so at this point you see we've got everything in there, and the greens are starting to cook down a little bit, and you see that we probably need to add a little more liquid in this pot. We'll get to the seasoning part in a little bit, but right now we're still sort of building our soup. We added a little more water. Now we're going to add some V8 juice. V8 juice is a great base to add to your soup and gives you a little more, just a little kick. So now we're going to add some chicken bouillon. We're using the low sodium. And again, this is just to kind of build our flavor, and you see our greens still need to cook. Just, you know what, however many you want to put in there. I usually use a lot because I like a lot of flavor. So these are the seasonings I put in my soup. You can put anything you want in your soup. This is just what I chose. I like a lot of flavor and a lot of heat in my soup. I don't measure. I just put things in there until I'm done. We've got garlic powder, onion powder, Cavender's Greek seasoning, basil, Cajun seasoning because I like a little heat. Pepper, killer tomato seasoning. Again, I like the heat, and just a little bit of celery salt. We don't want enough, just a lot. Just now we're gonna add some of our canned ingredients. I like diced tomatoes. I like the garlic and onion. Use whatever you like. Put a whole can. Do not drain them. Put the whole can in there. And then we're going to add green beans too. Haley's not a fan, so I'm actually going to put it in my pot and not her pot. We're making 2 pots of soup. So anything you want in it. Okay, so now we're adding our zucchini and our yellow squash that we already sliced earlier. You see our pot's getting full, but it's all going to cook down. Okay, so we're adding tomatoes and okra to Haley's because she likes that, and I don't really care for that. And we don't strain the liquid out of that. We pour that liquid in there because it's a little tomato juice. At this point, we've got everything in there. We're all seasoned up, and we're just going to set the temperature on high and bring this to a boil. Let it boil for a few minutes, and then turn it down and just let it simmer until everything is cooked down and nice and delicious. As far as seasoning continuing going, you season it how you want as you go. Just kind of taste it, the broth as you go, and whoa, hey there, and you'll decide how much seasoning you want in there. That's it. This is our finished product. We let it come to a boil. We boiled it for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so, maybe not even that long. And then we let it simmer for quite a while, and now it's all cooked down and yummy and delicious. All the spices are blended and melded, and it's delicious. This is going to be our snack, kind of our go-to for the week, since Haley's doing the pre-op and we're all supporting her as her family and doing it with her. We're all eating this yummy, delicious soup. I hope that this gave y'all something to try, and it's very soothing, and you'll find that it's very helpful going through the pre-op to have something that tastes good and feels good to look forward to, and it's also very healthy for your body. Thanks for joining us. Bye.